Hello and welcome to day 20 of the 40-day fast. We're right half there right now. 40 days that I started from the very beginning. I was hoping to continue a water fast, but it only lasted until started on January 2nd, and all water all the way up to 10 days, up to the evening of January 11th. Which was a Wednesday, and I had to go lead the congregation in singing, for the service that they have. I felt that I did not have enough strength to project my voice, so I started with the grape, just fasting on grapes, in a blender. Or grapes of themselves also good because they're mostly water. But grapes is what I've been thinking ever since then. So since 11 until now, it's just been on grapes, and so far my stamina, I have been able to keep my strength and be able to keep up with my schedule, my walking with my son every morning, and all the other activities that I do, and stay with my job. Like I mentioned before, my first fast was that I did for 28 days. It was with water and pomegranates, one pomegranate a day and water, and that was only for 28 days. And but I was not working. I was not walking my son to school. I was really heavy. I was close to my 300s. So that's so it's different. I compared to this, the way I am now, and to that fast, it's way different. I have more clarity of thought. I notice I'm able to concentrate more on whatever subjects. And I have so much access to scriptures, If I'm thinking of this verse, it comes with a great understanding now. So it's wonderful. First time I'm going for this fast this long, and I think by the grace of God, He's gonna enable me to see Him carry me through to the end. Because that's what I've been doing in my life. Practically, I gave up on me trying to guide my life and thinking that I know how to run my destiny. I realized that, hey, I did not create the world. The one who made me created me, and I better learn to listen to Him. That's why I've gotten, for years, I've gotten on the scriptures, to read the scriptures and to understand His mindset. And now that I've been given a glimpse as to how He runs things, it's just wonderful. But anyhow, welcome to the 20th day of the fast, day 20. And today is Saturday, January 21st, 2012. And so we've been talking about, the temptations that Jesus had to go in the wilderness when He was fasting for 40 days and 40 nights, and trying to understand, the way that He answered it. And why were those tests, because the things that the devil tested Him for, most of the people in the world don't think that they are tests, don't think that those are bad things. They think that those things should be encouraged, discourage their sons to think like the devil in that sense. Because when the devil was telling him to do those three things, that's the way he thought, and he wanted Jesus to adapt his thinking. And so he was trying to get him to think his way, so he will promote his ideas. Even though, Jesus could still use his name, but he will be promoting the devil's ideas. So the three tests that the devil gave Jesus, three temptations, and the first one had to do with the provisions of the flesh. Tell you God made you. That's how He says to the Christian. That's how He talks to him. But Jesus says, if you are the Son of God, and those that call ourselves Christians, says, if you are the Son of God, because we're supposed to be children of God, then make sure that the provisions for the flesh are provided. Make sure that you turn these stones into bread, and make sure that whatever it takes, you get your provisions. Even if you have to change something into something else, you feed your appetites. You don't go hungry. You take care of the flesh. Take good care of the flesh. And so, don't we instruct our children? You got to grow up. You got to be able to make it on your own, to feed yourself. That's the first instruction. We want you to be a bum. We want to be able to work for yourself and enable yourself to be useful to others. But it's basically, we motivate them so that they will always have provisions. All right, and then the second temptation was that they will seek for the protection of the flesh. Don't we encourage our kids and everything to get insurance and protect their health and protect their, all these things, and we encourage them to protect the flesh, to get, if they own a nice, pretty home, to put a safety bars and to put up a alarm system, all to protect who they are and to protect, their properties as well. And finally, the last temptation that Jesus, the devil, the testing through is that, he needed to go after all the production, after all the accomplishments and all the accolades and everything that the world can give you. He needs to think after that. And isn't that what we teach our children? So the three tests of Satan is already the way a lot of people think, and they don't even think that there's something wrong with that. But that was Jesus was, answering about. All of that has to do with the way you present the word, and that's very important. So that's why the theme on all these days of fasting so far has been, your Jesus sucks, my Jesus rules. Your Jesus sucks, my Jesus rules. Because the main thing is, how are you going to use words once you acquire them in this world? You can use them. The best way you can use words is to represent the meaning of Jesus. The meaning of Jesus means he saves, he makes whole, he restores, he completes, he makes sure nothing is lacking. That's the meaning of the word. To save means to make sure nothing lacks in whatever needs to be saved. Something needs to be made whole. And so, for that, all industries exist, and that's for what the people will pay you. To go and make things whole. To go and make sure that nothing is lacking anywhere. For that, people will pay you for that. And if you study to be a person that can learn other things and be a fixer of many things, they'll give you grants, they'll go all those things. They'll bend over backwards to make sure, you get access to all the knowledge so you can be so useful in the world. And so that's the best representation you can do for words, is use them so you can learn to love the order of words. And the order of words is instruction. You learn to learn instruction, and therefore you learn to love knowledge. And once you acquire knowledge, you have wisdom. And wisdom is the principal thing. Okay? So once you have that, as people realize, the wisdom that is in you, they'll, like I say, companies and everybody will bend over backwards to make sure that you come to work with their company. And all these things work that way. And that's the best representation that we all agree we can do with words that are deposited in us. But the worst representation we can do with words is to use this creative agent, because the words, remember, words are what assemble all things. Orders of words and instructions and all of that tells how every product in the world has been made, how it's manufactured, how it's kept, and how it needs to be repaired. So if you just get words so that you never learn to follow the order of anything, and all you know is just the names of things, oh, that's a camera. Can you fix it? No. I can use it though. That's a TV. Can you fix it? No. But I can see it and enjoy it. It's a PlayStation. All right. Can you fix it or do something with it? No, I can just use it. So there you go. If you just learn to learn the name of things, because that's what our generation, sadly to say, it's a generation, a consuming generation. And being in a state of being a consumer is the worst representation you can give to the word that is in you. And that's why in the Bible you are considered a wicked person, if you misuse the word. If you use it in a way that is not appropriate because it's not honoring of God. Now, you got to understand what I'm talking about is God calls a person wicked. A wicked is a very bad term to call somebody, but that's what would you call it. It's the thing that we treasure the most in this world, that we value the most, and we think the highest of, is our children, those that have come directly out of us, And so, once we have children of our own, if anybody is going to say anything bad about them, or trying to use them in a manner that, you have not anticipated that they should be used, you want them to grow, be doctors, be engineers, but somebody wants to take them away from you so they can make him a beggar, make him a bum. If somebody wants to do that to any of your children, you'll say, this guy is wicked. This guy is bad. This guy is evil. All right? So we were the only creatures, all animals that have that ability, we're the only creatures endowed with the ability to carry the word, the creative agent of God, and the creative agent of everything in creation as well. We were endowed with that ability. We're trusted with that. And so those of us, who are given understanding, and we want to use it in such a way that the words that we speak are for the edifying and the building of everybody. We're honoring the word. We're using it the way God used it. God used it to create, to maintain, and to keep sustaining the universe. But those of us who get the word, whom God called his son, to say, once I have your word, when you can trust him, I'm going to just use it to be a beggar. The way it's going to come out of me is to beg for care. And when you're doing that, you're just taking the benefit out of things, taking the benefits out of product, places, and people. That's what you can do if you don't have any order of knowledge inside of you. So if only ignorance abide in you, that's all you can do. Okay? So that's why it's so important what I'm saying to you. It's important to understand what Jesus was defending in the wilderness was the meaning of what his name stands for. He saves, he makes whole. The devil wanted him to have that meaning of Jesus be something else. He consumes the benefits out of things. He protects his flesh. He seeks how to get the provisions of the world for himself. And sadly to say, that's a bad representation. That's to use the word just to beg for things to do something for you. It's sad. God never does that. But you want to do that, that's what you're telling God. Your son, to me, is only good for begging. That's all I can use him for. That's all the usefulness I can get out of him. God will slap you in the face. But I will slap you in the face if you think that's what my son is going to be good for. But you're going to have to answer to God. What do you think you're going to have to answer to God for every word that we can say? Because the words are not ours. Nothing we own in this world. We don't own our own smile. We don't own our own eyes. Everything was created by God. Our own thoughts are created by God. Everything is his. He never put anything for sale in the market so I can go buy it and call it my own. So everything has always belonged to him. And it's understood now that the word, therefore, once it's being given to us, we have to use it in a way and a manner that is pleasing to God. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation, the way you use the word inside of your heart, be in a way that God is proud of it. Okay? And that's how we need to do it. Because once we don't use it that way, we're going to have to answer for those words. Why do you think Jesus was called a man after God's own heart? Because he thought of the word as the greatest treasure. The biggest song ever written in the whole entire world is the Psalm 119, 176 verses. It's the biggest poem, the biggest psalm, is the biggest chapter in the Bible. And that's all dedicated to the Word of God, to the statutes, His commandments, His orders, His instructions. All of that is just for that. So, when you think so highly of your son and you see somebody comes along and thinks the same way that you think about your son, you think, this is a man after my own heart. He understands, what makes my heart pound. That's what God thought of David, because that's how he looked at the word. And his son was very smart too. His son Solomon that came after him, he also thought of the word that way. And great wisdom was given to him. So, I'm trying to make you understand the importance, therefore, of why is it that we do this. And that's why it's important to understand those temptations. We're still happy just to remain as consumers in this world, but being a consumer, you may think that there's no damage for you because you get to consume all the products, but you are using what is not yours. You're using the word, which means that his son, the one who God calls his son, to just misrepresent him and do the worst representation of what he can be. So that's why the Bible says all godliness is profitable to all things. The teachings that I'm teaching you are applicable not only to the church, and I believe the church needs to be listening more to this than everybody else, but it's applicable to the dunghill, to the world outside of the church that builds all the creation to try to complete themselves with the things of the work of their own hands. But even to them, they can use the lessons from here and learn to make things better. So it has an application to all things. God's connected to everything, and the Word is in charge of everything. So make sure that the Word that is in you is one that rules, one that controls everything. Not a Jesus that just sucks the benefit out of everything. Away with that Jesus. You don't want to use that representation of Jesus. That's the Jesus that the devil wanted Christ to be. That's the Jesus that the devil make sure that he went out to the world and proclaimed. Now Jesus never acquiesced to that, never said, I will do that. He absolutely denied that. But many of his so-called followers want to project that Jesus into the world. That encourages you to just use his powers, you know, to claim you're trusting God just to get this and to get that. Don't you know that the word is the greatest treasure? Out of the word everything comes, and out of the word everything is sustained, everything is kept. So don't be foolish to think that that which has come out of the word is more valuable than the word. That's a stupidity. And as soon as you can catch that, you should end it right away. But we're going to leave it at that for today. So that will be all for today. And God willing, we'll continue tomorrow.